The attention I got from my appearance started when I was a baby. People would tell my mom, "Oh, you have such a beautiful baby. You should enter her in contests." Pretty normal, right?
Now I don't know what parent would consider putting a baby of all things into a contest, but whatever, people like babies I guess.
I mean, people love babies.
Do you know who else likes babies? No, not that person, fuck. God, you people are so immature.
But it continued when I was a toddler. A modeling agent approached my mom in a restaurant when I was 3 to see if she could sign me.
Okay guys, I am going to be blunt, but I can't be the only one seeing red flags in this situation.
My mom said no. 3 was too young, she thought.
I am glad the mother is stepping in, understanding the underlying degeneracy of the thought of giving a 3-year-old a career in modeling. I mean, holy shit.
People commented on my looks so much. I hadn't even hit puberty yet, and I was already getting catcalled on the street.
So basically, grown men around her are looking at this pre-adolescent girl and catcalling her, calling her hot. Okay, there's even more red flag here.
When I was 13, I started a YouTube channel dedicated to robotics, one of my greatest loves. But in the comments section, people would leave comments like, "You're hot," or "Shame you're not legal."
Okay, enough bullshit. I think it's the perfect time to set off the pedophile alarm now. Pedophile, 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 pedophile. Well, hello there everyone, MinuteVideos here, and welcome to another shitty commentary that will cause the polls to turn to a horizontal axis. Today we will be doing a commentary on one of many animated storytime videos that have been popping up on YouTube for quite some time now. No, I'm not talking about the type of storytime videos from the likes of Jaden Animations and the odd ones out. I am talking about the manufactured animated storytime videos from channels with clickbait titles and thumbnails. Most of them would have the same type of tropes many other animated storytime videos of their kind have, leaving yourself to ponder whether or not the events told by the narrator even happened at all. Simple answer really, none of the events depicted in these videos happened at all, because I know that no grown-ass adult with children would seriously consider raiding Area 51. I might be doing more of these in the future, so I am taking any requests. If anyone has one I can commentate on. Anyway, as I stated before, there was one video out of a million that caught my eye. A channel called MinuteVideos made a video titled "I Was Bullied for My Opinions," and if you're curious to know what this opinion is, the title was previously called "Is It Wrong to Not Support the LGBTQ?" Yeah, I can already gather what the video is about. Victimizing the homophobes at the expense of gay people that were bullied for their sexuality to own the libs, I guess. Alright, enough SJW dog whistling, let's get this shit rolling.
It was the end of the day, and I was waiting for my bus with one of my friends.
Okay, I think I should probably introduce the characters for you, because the Christian extremist white nationalist writer of the story that MinuteVideos overlooked didn't even bother introducing the characters. Him. I am calling this one Billy the Butch Lesbian, the one who probably has a Hey Arnold t-shirt somewhere, and I am calling this one Nanette the Crypto Nazi, and you'll see why in a couple of minutes into the video.
When she began asking me random questions.
Hey Nanette, have you ever heard of cock and ball torture? Oh, that wasn't funny at all. I mean, these are children, for fuck's sake. Why are you making these crude jokes? I am going to crawl up into my room and cry, and it will sound like
All of a sudden though, she asked, "Hey, have you heard of the LGBT plus community?"
And then a bunch of K-pop stans came out of the woodworks and grinned into the camera saying, "Did somebody say LGBT?" I have no idea where I am going for with this joke. Probably something abominable, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, I had. Is this the last question?
I like how frightened and worried Nanette looks when this whole LGBT question was brought up. She was probably indoctrinated by her God-fearing parents about how homosexuality and those who partook in it are a concoction of evil and will spend the rest of eternity suffering in hell as the final solution to the homosexual question.
No, but almost. Do you support gay and lesbians? Like the people who are in the LGBT community?
Why yes, I support the gays, and I support the lesbians, like the people who are in the LGBT community. How can you tell?
Do I give her my honest opinion? Or should I lie? Maybe I should just tell her what I think will make her happy. But what if it's not the right answer she wants to hear? I mean, she's my friend. I'm sure we'll be fine. After a quick pause, I gave her my reply. No.
Based. Oh wait, that's bad.
She tried to hide it, but I saw the shock on her face. She smiled awkwardly and said, "Oh, okay." I had no idea what that meant and thought of it as nothing more than an awkward and random conversation.
I guess this should settle the case, for whether or not a healthy society should consider these unfortunate victims of indoctrination farther away from normal people as possible, but I am leaving it up to everyone to decide for yourselves.
We said bye to one another as she walked her way home, and I hopped on my bus.
As soon as I got on the bus, Billy the Butch said, "Come back, Shane." I pulled out my revolver and shot Billy square in her torso, causing her to fly into nothingness. And then I said to her,
"My name's not Shane, kid."
And then the bus flew off into space, and then the words, "The End," flew into center place in the screen. Also, notice that this is not the usual yellow school bus most elementary and primary school children take, but it is instead public transit, so this leads me to believe that these young ladies are high schoolers. Because of this, Nanette the crypto-Nazi is more independent enough to have basic access of information in the internet, so this leaves the door of the possibility that this person probably grasped her homophobia independently from her parents, probably delving into stuff from either April and Wayne show people or even alt-right types or something. This is one of the many things where the name Nanette the crypto-Nazi takes place.
Before I went to bed, my mind kept replaying my friend's question, and why she acted so awkwardly to my answer.
If you couldn't tell why she responded to you awkwardly to you saying no to gay people getting basic rights like everyone else, then I don't know where you get off.
Why did she look like she was hiding something? Or what if she doesn't want to be my friend anymore?
From this I can imagine that Billy was trying to come out that day, so I guess that's why she asked that question to you, just to see how you would personally take it when she comes out. I don't know, that's just my theory, I guess.
Am I a bad person for not supporting the LGBT+ community?
Oh no, you're not evil for not supporting the LGBTQ+ community. It's those damn shirt-lifting sodomites that are evil. These people used to be our slaves. When they look up they will see a face like yours looking down at them. That's how the world fucking works.
The biggest thing I couldn't get off my mind was her awkward smile hiding her true emotions from me.
Maybe she likes you.
I thought about it the entire night until I fell asleep hoping it was just a harmless question, and she'd forget about it tomorrow.
We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.
I walked through the hallway saying hello to my classmates and friends, and every time I did, they brushed me off or give me a dirty look. I even had a few people ignore me and whisper something to someone else right in front of me and then walk away.
Well, I believe this was all due to you shouting "Seed Heil" in the humanities classroom, and believe me, I was the tad at the time. But in all seriousness, what school is so quick to shun someone over an opinion this quickly? I mean, unless you live somewhere close to the border of Canada in the Pacific Northwest, I can't imagine a situation like this realistically. This is what I believe entails that this is not an actual story written by someone with the same experience, rather it was written by some extremist of some kind who wrote it to subvert the masses into casually accepting the rights of homosexuals to be stripped from them, and MinuteVideos enabled this by making this video.
Did I do something wrong? Why are people giving me these mean looks?
Yeah guys, I don't know why these students are giving me these mean looks. Please look into my cute anime eyes and feel sympathy for me. God hates eggs, God hates America, thank God. For dead soldiers, Jews are inferior gas, the kikes race war. Now we must secure the existence of our race and the future. For white children, whoops, that must have slipped out.
Finally, I saw my friend who asked me the question the other day, and nervously said, "Hi." She automatically replied, "Get away from me!"
Lol, what the fuck was that about?
Get away from me! I backed up in shock. We were fine the other day. At least, I thought we were fine. What? What did I do? At this point, everyone had their eyes on us waiting to see what would happen. How dare you not support gays or lesbians?
Yeah, how dare you not support the gays and the lesbians, the blacks, the Jews, the Muslims.
What? Why did you tell everyone? I thought you were my friend.
I can easily identify the tropes of this whole story, which again would indicate that this story is fake. The whole rumor being spread trope has been done to death, so it wouldn't make much sense to pretend it's real now.
How can I be friends with someone who doesn't support what I or all of us do? You're a monster and unaccepting of other people's preferences. You just don't fit in with the rest of us anymore.
How dare you disgrace the sanctity of the LGBT hegemony. Mouth out to Matthew Shepard like the submissive at the girl you are.
At this point, everyone gave me a dirty look and agreed with her. It was like I had committed some kind of sin and didn't deserve to be around everyone else.
Yeah, instead of being confronted with groupie high schoolers meandering in the lockers and whatnot, I was instead confronted with a situation, as if I was in a courthouse. You see how easy it is to point out the cliches?
In an instant, I was the worst person in the entire school.
I am pretty sure Timmy in the other room would have to disagree with you, after he shot up the entire classroom that day, so...
The only thing I could do was run into the bathroom.
Well, of course you can remind an adult to see if he can do anything about it, but that wouldn't be enough to fill in the cliches into making us sympathize with someone who essentially wants homosexuals to be placed in a concentration camp, would it?
I cried so hard, so much, and so loud, someone in the other stall heard me and told me to shut up. I felt so ashamed of myself for not supporting or accepting the LGBT+ community.
Wait a minute, you said that you didn't support the LGBT community. Now you are ashamed of not supporting it? Something's not right here. Lack of any basic beliefs or principles, perhaps?
I hated myself for not lying and saying I did support them. I wanted to go home so badly, but there was no way I could. The rest of the day was just as bad, if not worse. People mocked me and called me homophobe, which wasn't true at all.
Yeah guys, I am not homophobic. I mean, granted, I don't think that homosexuals should have the same rights as every other people in the United States, and I truly believe that they are inferior and morally evil people, and I wish that they burned in hell for eternity for their sins. But other than that, I am not homophobic, guys.
I tried to tell them that it was my personal preference to not support it, but it didn't mean I hated people who are gay or lesbian.
First of all, that logic doesn't make any sense. I mean, if we were to apply the same logic in black people, for instance, saying, oh, I fucking hate the black skin color, but I don't hate the people who have it. If you quote-unquote disagree with people having black skin, something that they cannot control, then 9 times out of 10 you are probably not going to like the people who have it. Secondly, notice how Nanette the crypto-Nazi frames it, as if being homophobic is entirely akin to that of sexual orientation, something that she cannot control. It's almost like the Westboro Baptist Church funded writer of the StoryTime video just found an LGBT story in Tumblr, or what have you, and replaced the main character with a homophobe, I suppose. Realistically, if Minnie Pooh really views homophobia as some sort of knee-jerk preference, then there might be some sort of mental illness going on with her, and her painting herself as innocent may have left out the other terrible things she did before.
I had never felt so alone, so I decided I had to tell my parents what was happening to me at school. But would they yell at me for having these opinions? Or worse still, they might hate me.
Why would your parents hate you for a value that they raised you on? So they didn't raise you on homophobic, God-fearing values after all. Okay Minnie, what websites have you been on?
I entered my kitchen to see both of my parents sitting there. Even though I tried to find the words to tell them I needed to talk, all I could find were tears. Both of them quickly stood up and came to the door where I was standing to comfort me. My mom asked me what was wrong, and I began to explain. I told them the question my friend asked the day before, and then my answer. That I just didn't agree with the LGBT+ community.
Why? I mean, if Minnie here actually gave some sort of ration behind her homophobia, then maybe I might have a little bit more sympathy for her. Is it a religious thing? Do you believe in your cult, I mean religion, that homosexuality is a sin or something? If that's the case, then that shouldn't give you the incentive to deny homosexuals and transgenders basic dignity and human rights, which is what the LGBTQP has been lobbying for years. But Nanette the so didn't even bother explaining why. Doing so would undermine the fake sympathy we are supposed to give her, because whatever gave her shitty ideas lies into something more messed up and even more fringe lines of thinking than usual, probably fused in with both religion and late 1800s race realist type garbage, I guess.
To my delight, my mom and dad, they reassured me that it was okay to have different opinions to other people about things.
No, a better way to deal with this is have a discussion with her about it and where her homophobia came from, and maybe incentivize a different way of thinking. Try telling her that we shouldn't treat or think of people differently based on their race, gender, or sexual orientation or identity, or something else that might convince her to change her views into something more superior than what preceded beforehand, thus making her a better and more rational thinking human being. Even in a Judeo-Christian society, we should try our best to love and look out for one another in spite of those differences.
Like sexuality, religion, and politics. Just as long as you are not rude or disrespectful towards them.
Yeah, but being homophobic and dissing the LGBT community in and of itself is a little bit disrespectful to their cause. Granted, Nanette here has the right to be homophobic, and generally be a piece of shit, but that doesn't mean that these beliefs aren't worthy of criticism and are subject to change. Not all viewpoints are created equal, some of them are better than others.
Unfortunately, the kids at my school didn't see it that way. My old friends would either turn their backs on me to ignore me, or worse, mutter mean words under their breaths as they passed me in the hallways. Their words would cut through me to my core. I would come home every day, head straight for my room, and cry. My parents would ask, "Darling, what's wrong?" But I couldn't bring myself to tell them how bad things had become.
I like how not once her parents even considered that this might have something to do with the homophobia situation at all. A plus, my friend.
Over the next few months,
Jesus fuck, who the hell holds a grudge over one person having an opinion like this? Most of the teenagers in this generation would look at her and view it as a byproduct of ironic conservative memes, so realistically people would move on by now.
my school life was miserable. No one was interested in hearing my opinion or reasons. All they cared about was their own.
Okay, aside from the bland aestheticism of political discourse presented in your posture, didn't you at least give out your understanding of why people are upset at all? Maybe an experience they had due to homophobia? Curious, because all you're doing is painting them as a bunch of NPCs who are hell-bent on oppressing gamers.
Things had become so bad at school that my grades started to slip. I just couldn't concentrate, and no one wanted to work with me or help me in class.
Among other cartoon tropes that are a result of harassment from your peers.
Eventually, the school's head had noticed something wasn't right and called my parents in for a meeting. I was nervous, scared even, that my parents would be mad at me for letting this affect my grades. But after seeing how bad things had become and how unhappy I was, they both agreed that the best thing for me would be to move schools and have a fresh start.
One wonders what type of school she goes to, probably a non-denominational school perhaps.
A year has passed since I moved schools, and I've made great new friends, all with different views and opinions.
Bland aestheticism of political discourse based on body posture, with the anarcho-Nazi communist slamming her palm in the desk with the libertarian capitalist Maoist pointing his thumb to himself. What a great resolution our Western society has to offer. Also, notice the implications the writer is giving, implying that the people at her old school are a bunch of NPCs with one hegemonic opinion. This is yet another reason why I don't believe that this is a real story.
I still have the same views.
Wait, so none of your little buddies ever challenged what makes you homophobic and insists that there are better alternatives to your beliefs?
But I've realized that there are better ways to express them.
Gotta wonder what kind of conversation that these three are having. Hello, my name is Nanette the Crypto Nazi, and today I found out they are removing a statue of Robert E. Lee in campus, so I decided that we should organize an event against it. Oh cool, my mom bought me a 2010 Dodge Challenger for me. I think we all know what happened next.
I look back on that day my friend asked me my opinion, and maybe if I hadn't been so short in my answer and turned it into a discussion about our different opinions, things could have been different.
I mean, I guess. But given the implications of the video given so far, realistically the outcomes wouldn't be much different.
The way my new friends accept different opinions by discussing them, rather than turning them into a witch hunt and isolating the person with a different opinion, has made me feel so at home.
Yes, but the problem is not that it was just a different opinion, it is the fact that the belief you have holds prejudice against people based on certain aspects that they can't control, like sexual orientation. And because of that, it is understandable for people to be mad based on certain experiences they've had with people that agree with you.
I have learned that people will always have different opinions in life, but that is fine. Just because a friend doesn't agree with you, doesn't mean you can't be friends.
Let me rephrase that into something more honest. I've learned that people hated Jews, blacks, gays, etc., and that's fine. Just because they hold prejudice against people based on aspects they can't control, doesn't mean you can't be friends. Yes, you have the right to your opinions, but that doesn't mean those opinions aren't subject to criticism or change.
You should be open with each other and discuss your differences. The world doesn't need to be any more divided than it already is.
That's somewhat true, but the only way to accommodate that worldview is to stop enabling homophobic beliefs, because who knows, Nanette the crypto Nazi might have a position of power in the near future, and she might fuck up so many things. And because Nanette is from the Philippines, mind you, she would have a nice place carrying on the legacy of Rodrigo Duterte. Oh, who am I kidding? This video is pretty based, to be honest. Oh, and by the way, I like the fact that the person who wrote this is anonymous. So the person is more than likely not the girl telling the story, so it could be anyone, maybe someone from the Westboro Baptist Church trying to subvert kids into hating LGBT people. And this is where I am ending the video. The ending is, just as you would expect, basically wrapping up with mean words are mean and you should be nice to people or whatnot. Overall, this video was pretty shitty to say the least. The art style may be great, I may sympathize with the main character for being bullied, because no one should have to go through the same thing, but deep down, the core message as well as the implications of it is at best poorly thought out, and probably malicious at worst. If you guys didn't pay attention, basically the implications of it is that the LGBT supporters and what have you are all a bunch of NPCs who say that they are tolerant but they won't support people who basically favor stripping gay people of their rights. What nerve. And while granted, I do believe you have the right to be homophobic, but that doesn't mean that it should be encouraged, and that doesn't mean that it is not a subject to change or criticism. It's the same thing with being racist, you have the right to be racist, but that doesn't mean that those opinions aren't shitty horse droppings worthy of being criticized. Whether it is MinuteVideos' intention or not, the optics of the video are pretty damaging as well. With the cutesy anime design choice, this video is pretty much targeting people under the age of 18, right? So essentially, teaching people of that demographic that it is okay to be homophobic, and that LGBT people are disrespectful towards people who hate gay people, who are by the way the real oppressed minorities. I mean, after all, it's just an opinion, guys. When really, they should be taught that it shouldn't matter if they are straight or gay, and that shouldn't get in the way of standing up for their rights to be it, which is what the LGBT community stands for. This is something that Nanette the crypto Nazi should have been taught by her family or peers, but she didn't, which adds more to the bad optics also. Also, we never actually get to see her reasoning behind why she is homophobic at all. If it's all due to religion, then she needs to get over it, because religion shouldn't get in the way of standing up for people, whether they are gay or straight, which again is what the LGBT community stands for. Finally, I want to mention that the subject in homosexuality is not something worthy of agreement or disagreement, because nature doesn't give a shit about your feelings. If skin color is not something worthy of agreement or disagreement, why should sexual orientation be any different? Overall, trashy video, and an obvious anti-LGBT hit piece with very sketchy intentions. Nice try. Anyway, this is Ottomagic Critic, and make sure you make the response video calling me an SJW so that you will see it and will dislike bomb my video. See you next time.
Come back, Shane!
My name's not Shane, kid.